I have a very weird feeling right now going into 2026 that it is going to be the worst year.
Because things are going to get worse. The economy will get worse.
2026, you're going to get a cost of living increase of 2.8%.
In 2 months, it's going to become completely unaffordable to live in the United States.
By next year, in 2026, things are going to get much worse for everybody.
2026 is going to be a shit show.
I think today was the least Christmassy Christmas I've ever had.
Healthcare in the U.S. has been a problem for many years, and in 2026, a lot of people are not going to be able to out-budget it because it's rising by hundreds of dollars per month for very many people.
See, 2026 is going to be a devastating year.
Everyone keeps saying next year will be better, that things will stabilize, that the worst is behind us. But what if that's not true? What if 2026 isn't a recovery year at all, but the year where pressure finally turns into pain? Because while headlines talk about progress, millions of people are quietly falling behind. Not because they're reckless, not because they don't work hard, but because the cost of simply existing keeps rising, and nothing meaningful is being done to stop it. Rent is higher, groceries cost more, utilities, insurance, healthcare, all more expensive, and yet wages haven't kept up. At the same time, the U.S. economy looks fine on paper, the stock market survives, corporate profits remain strong, but everyday people don't live on paper. This video isn't about panic, it's not about conspiracies, and it's not about saying the world is ending, it's about connecting dots. Because if current trends continue, 2026 is going to be worse than most people are prepared for.
2026 is going to be a shit show because everyone knows it's all bullshit now. Everything costs too much. You work too fucking hard. We're too fucking tired. We know there's going to be no fucking light at the end of the tunnel because, well, we've been doing this shit. It doesn't matter if you're in healthcare and security and sales and fucking secretaryism. Fucking it doesn't matter what you're into. You don't make enough. And they're making sure that you don't make enough because here I am trying to homestead and it's not even fucking affordable because, oh, you need some tools? You need a fucking lawnmower? All right, well, that's $5,000. Oh, you want to raise chickens and raise vegetables and shit? Yeah, that's a few $100s just to even start up. So, yeah, they're making it real difficult for anyone trying to fucking find a way out. And I'm in the same boat as you guys, honestly. Happy New Year's.
Every year since 2020 has collectively gone further and further downhill, and I have a very weird feeling right now going into 2026 that it is going to be the worst year. I have a feeling that it's going to be worse than 2020 for some reason. I don't know why. Like, I know New Year's is in a couple of days, and I feel so uneasy. Like, I don't even have hope. Like, I don't even have a, like, maybe it'll be better. Maybe it'll be better than 2025. Like, there's no part of me that is like, oh, it'll be something. And I'm like, nope, it's gonna be bad. I don't know why. Does anyone else feel this way?
President Trump implied that Colombia might be his next target while he was aboard Air Force One today. Meanwhile, Katie Miller, who's married to Stephen Miller, posted an image of Greenland with an American flag pattern. Also, Trump continues to threaten Iran. The warmongering must end now. No blood for oil. We must use American taxpayer money to benefit our communities. And to all those who say, well, Obama bombed foreign nations, I condemn George W. Bush for Iraq and Afghanistan. And I condemn Barack Obama for his drone strikes. I condemn Biden for his unwavering support of Israel. It's time to stop treating our political parties like they're sports teams and call balls and strikes. I realize that is a sports metaphor, and I don't care. We must demand justice. That is the only way through this.
In 2 months, it's going to become completely unaffordable to live in the United States. And I'm not talking about luxury lifestyle. I'm talking about basic middle-class needs. I run a relocation business out of Costa Rica. I asked my clients, who are a couple from Bushwick, Brooklyn, why they were thinking of moving abroad. They sent me their monthly budget spreadsheet. So combined, they make $120,000 a year. And from that, they get to bring home about $7,400 a month after taxes. Their rent is $3,100 a month. And their health insurance is about to skyrocket to $1,750. They budget about $1,000 a month for groceries. Their utilities, internet, cell phones, and MetroCard are another $1,300 or so. So at the end of the month, this leaves them with about $250. And that doesn't include any unexpected expenses or the hope for investments or the hope for a savings account. So what they said to me is that this is what running in place feels like. And the reason that they want to move abroad is because they actually want to move forward with their lives.
So here it is, SSI and SSDI. For 2026, you're going to get a cost of living increase of 2.8%. What does that mean? It means it ain't fucking shit. Because if you make $1,000 and you get a 2.8%, you're getting $28. $28 for the cost of living adjustment? That ain't fucking shit. That ain't nothing. You still can't afford anything. You can't afford to live. So 2.8%? Who thinks it is bullshit?
I think today was the least Christmassy Christmas I've ever had. And that's not because my family and I didn't do all the usual traditions, but it has been a fuck-ass year. And unfortunately, no amount of tinsel can cover that up. All I could think about were the kids spending Christmas without their parents because their parent or parents were ripped off the street by the modern-day Gestapo. I couldn't stop thinking about the families who are torn apart because their loved one was sent to a death camp like ICost, or the people who've lost their medical or food support because this government has prioritized profiting off of suffering people. And that's the point. This bone deep exhaustion, heavy grief, that's their strategy. A depressed, hopeless, powerless population is a compliant population. And I'm not going to invalidate any of these feelings. I know a lot of us are carrying the weight of what this regime is doing. And that feeling is a testament to your humanity in the face of their inhumanity. But we cannot let these feelings become our cage. We cannot let overwhelm be an excuse for inaction. And if you want 2026 to be a revolutionary year, then we cannot do the same things we've done in 2025 because it's not enough. Yes, Democrats are sweeping elections and that's great, but we do not have another year to wait for somebody to fucking do something. Democrats winning all these special elections has not stopped this regime. It hasn't stopped Humpty Dumpty from dropping bombs on Syria, or now Nigeria, Venezuela, and God knows who's next. Congress is clearly not going to stop any of this. They have made that abundantly clear. If they will not act, then we must. Honestly, we need to be in the fucking streets every day, in DC, in massive crowds. Honestly, the fact that we aren't right now is mind-blowing. So my wish for 2026 is revolution. We are not doing enough. We are not angry enough. We are a complacent and lazy society. And if we don't fucking change that, it's just going to get so much worse. So if you're in for making a real change, comment below, like and share, and follow me for more.
For the past few years, inflation has changed everyday life, not in dramatic ways at first, but in small, constant increases that add up over time. Groceries cost more than they used to, rent went up and stayed up. Utilities, insurance, healthcare, transportation, all more expensive. And even when inflation numbers cool down, prices don't reverse. They settle into a new normal. By the time 2026 arrives, millions of households will be spending more of their income just to maintain the same standard of living they had years ago. Not improving, not advancing, just maintaining. At the same time, wages haven't kept pace. Some people saw raises, but most of those raises were swallowed by higher costs. Working more hours doesn't feel like progress anymore. It feels like running faster on a treadmill that never stops. More people rely on side jobs. More people lean on credit. More people delay savings, healthcare, and long-term plans. This isn't because people suddenly forgot how to budget. It's because the math stopped working.
Listen, I hope everybody's having a great Christmas and everything, but I think it's about 5 days away from 2026. You guys need to lock in. I'm telling you, because if you don't lock in, you're going to be cooked, all right? I'm just letting you know. I don't want people to be on here complaining, which I'm going to do anyway, because that's what y'all do, is complain. But I want you guys to know that you had the opportunity to make a change in your life and you chose not to. So in 2026, when the exact same thing, and it's going to be way worse than 2025, when you have the same exact life, You can't blame Trump. You can't blame, if you're black, you can't blame white people. You can't blame the system and everything like that. You have an opportunity to do better. For example, tax season, they're actually garnishing a lot of people's taxes because Biden lied and said that he will clean people's student loans. That's school stuff, right? He was going to garnish our student loans, and you guys will be good. But he lied, and because he lied, now people's tax returns are being taken from them. So you guys are going to be complaining and yelling and screaming in your cars on TikTok for that. So I just want you guys to know that's going to be difficult. But you had opportunities. When if you do get your tax returns, you guys should be buying things like this. You see, get a whiteboard. You definitely, for people who do not have laptops in your house, right? You are bugging. Okay, this is my upstairs office, by the way. This is my room. So this is my room office, right? So if you don't have a laptop, I just want you guys to know you're wilding. At least get a laptop. If you're not gonna get a desktop, this is how you make money. This is how you make money, okay? This is how you make money. This is how you stay focused. If you're making content and stuff like that, you wanna get stuff like this. You understand what I'm saying? And this is for your back, just in case your back hurt. I got back pains, so sitting downstairs and stuff. Yeah. But anyway, my point is I got stuff in my hair and stuff, don't mind that. But okay, we're just gonna leave it there. What I'm saying is you wanna make sure that you do the right thing. 2026, it's gonna be a very difficult year for you guys. You guys are gonna be, I'm talking about screaming in your car. You might get repoed while you're in the car screaming. But it's gonna be very bad for you. And you guys have a chance to do better by investing into assets and investing into yourself. But you guys choose not to do that because y'all think if y'all get 50 jobs, you won't be broke. Okay. I just want you guys to know that has not worked for any of you. It hasn't worked for our parents. It hasn't worked for our parents' parents. So it's not going to work for you, I promise you. Do something different. 2026 could be a good year if you do the right thing. Be smart or get cooked. That's it.
Good evening. By now, the other thing you would have heard all over the media was a follow-on from one of my last videos where I talked about the government decided that they were no longer going to give you rebates for your power bills because, they're broke. And they can't keep carrying you. They can keep providing rebates to the renewable companies who are shafting us all, but not to the average citizen who can't afford to pay their power bill anymore. But that's a lead on to the next thing they've been reporting about, and that is that by next year, in 2026, things are going to get much worse for everybody. Because the only thing that isn't going to go up is your wage, but everything else will. Interest rates are going to go up, inflation is rising, government spending is out of control, power prices are going to go up, power, every other conceivable bill, because the main ones, of course, are housing, rent, insurance, and power, and food. So please expect that in the year 2026, everything else is going to become more expensive for you. And the only thing that's not going to go up is your wage. You'll be lucky to even keep your job because they're starting to sack people left, right, and centre already. This government, and you've heard me say this many times, this government has no intention of cutting back on their spending or doing anything to get inflation under control. Nada. As long as they've got their properties and their pensions, they don't care about the everyday Australian. And one of the things they've been mentioning in all the articles and all the news reports about this is that the Australian people have lost confidence in both Labor and Liberal to address this problem. The cost of living crisis. Well, yes, that's been coming for a long time and it's just going to get worse. I think we've gone beyond the point of just voting them out now, guys. Because if things get worse, as it is now, we are all struggling to put food on the table, petrol in our car, and put a roof over your head and pay for the power to heat and cool it as it is already. How much further do we have to allow this government to destroy our way of life?
Now zoom out to the broader economy. On the surface, things appear stable. Markets recover, corporate earnings stay strong, economic language sounds reassuring. But stability built on debt is fragile. Consumer spending is increasingly powered by credit. Households are borrowing not for luxury, but for survival. Interest rates make that borrowing more painful, but people have little choice. Small businesses feel the strain first. Then jobs follow. Layoffs don't always arrive loudly. Sometimes they come quietly. Fewer hours, fewer opportunities, fewer benefits. At the same time, government responses remain slow, divided, and temporary. Relief packages expire, structural issues remain untouched. And while everyday people absorb the pressure, corporate power continues to consolidate. Price increases get passed down, profits flow upward, risk is socialized, reward is privatized. By 2026, the gap between those who feel the economy and those who control it will be wider than ever.
It's about an hour and a half into 2026 on the East Coast. And I've had a theory about 2026 politically for a very long time that I have not chosen to share here, but I think it's time that I do. See, 2026 is going to be a devastating year. It absolutely will be, because things are going to get worse. The economy will get worse. The recruitment and enlistment of ICE members and border control will increase, meaning their presence in cities and towns throughout the country will also increase, meaning their violence will also increase. It's very likely that we end up in some kind of war or physical combat kind of situation. The world is a ticking time bomb. All of these things and more are going to happen in some capacity, but you have to understand that around 11 months, around November, we are going to hit midterms, yes, but there's something deeper than that. What will happen by November of 2026 is that the American people across the political spectrum will have had enough. And that's because in November of 2026, when we go out to vote, so many things are going to be obstacles. There will be voter intimidation at the polling places, specifically with ICE and Border Patrol agents probably wielding weapons of some kind. They are continuing to fight about redistricting, and I assume that will continue through 2026. There will also be some form of cheating that will be hard to detect, much like many of us feel in terms of the 2024 presidential election. All of these things are going to happen. And then, once people are elected, especially in blue seats, both in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, Speaker Mike Johnson, if he is still Speaker, or whoever is the Speaker of the House at that moment, will refuse to swear them in. We saw that practiced while the government shutdown was happening. There will be an uproar about this, and the uproar will be the American people realizing that their voice is not being heard through votes anymore, because it will be blatant. It will be in their face, and they will be devastated because at that point in the year, so much will have gone so wrong that the approval ratings of this president, which are already in shambles, will continue to decline. And enough people, even extremely conservative people, maybe not MAGA cult members, but extremely conservative people, will say enough is enough. This July, we will experience our 250th birthday as a nation. And I expect that to be draped in dictatorship-like flair. You will see things like the Arc de Trump actually constructed. You will see his name appear on more buildings. And that's just the way it's going to go, but you're going to have to focus on other things. Because when all of this comes to a head after the midterm elections, when people realize their voice is not being heard, that's when we are finally going to fight back. And the pitchforks and the torches, metaphorically, will show up at the White House. These next 11 months are going to be the hardest we have faced yet. I can guarantee you that. But at the other side, or rather at rock bottom, people will band together and start to turn things around. We can't go back. We can't get ourselves out of this. We have to go through.
This is where many people misunderstand what's coming. They expect a single breaking moment, a crash, a headline, a clear signal that things have gone wrong. But that's not how most people experience decline. They experience it quietly. They notice they're more tired than they used to be. That money doesn't stretch as far. That saving feels impossible. That plans keep getting postponed. They stop thinking about the future in terms of growth and start thinking about it in terms of survival. Not because they lack ambition, but because ambition requires stability. By 2026, more people will feel like they're doing everything right and still getting nowhere. And that feeling is dangerous. Because when effort no longer leads to progress, people don't just lose money. They lose trust. Trust in institutions, trust in promises, trust that playing by the rules still matters. History shows this pattern over and over again. Societies don't fracture when life is hard. They fracture when life feels unfair and unchangeable. When people believe the system works, even slowly, they endure. When they believe it's rigged beyond repair, they disengage. That's the real risk of 2026. Not collapse, not chaos overnight, but erosion. The slow erosion of optimism, the slow erosion of confidence, the slow erosion of social trust. And erosion is harder to reverse than crisis because crises demand attention. Erosion happens in silence. This doesn't mean the future is hopeless, but it does mean pretending everything is fine is no longer an option. Awareness isn't pessimism, it's preparation. Understanding the forces shaping the economy gives people agency. It allows them to adjust expectations, plans, and priorities. Those who recognize the pressure early can adapt. Those who ignore it often get caught off guard. 2026 isn't some distant point in the future. It's being shaped right now, by policy decisions, corporate behavior, and economic inertia. Nothing about this path is inevitable, but change doesn't happen automatically. It happens when enough people understand what's actually happening beneath the surface. This video isn't asking you to panic. It's asking you to pay attention because the future rarely announces itself loudly. It arrives quietly, one bill at a time, one delay at a time, one compromise at a time, and by the time most people realize how much has changed, they're already living in it.